open the regular hearing, or open the regular meeting, my mistake. Item 1.1, opening, setting of agenda for the meeting. Any changes, alterations?
Just a few relating to personnel that are found under the consent agenda. Otherwise, we're still set.
You ready to wade right in here?
I'm sorry?
You ready to wade right in here?
Give me a second.
Item 1.2, audience participation. Anybody in the audience?
We got to approve the agenda.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we're on to 1.2, audience participation. Anybody in the audience want to address any of the agenda items? If not, opportunity later on. Item 2, consent agenda. You're on.
Good evening. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Got held up. Okay, item 2, consent agenda. Are there any items within the consent agenda a board member would like to pull out and discuss separately? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Have motion and second. Any questions or discussion or comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks for stepping in, Larry. Appreciate it. We'll move on now to section 3 for business transactions. 3.1, focus on learning.
We have Stephen Boyer, principal at Menominee Elementary, and Carla Knotts, third grade teacher at Menominee, and quite a few eager third graders ready to present for us this evening. So thank you.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having us here tonight. I've had a long, exciting, and eventful and productive day, but I have been looking forward to this most all day long, and I can see the excitement on our third graders' faces. I'm just going to give a kind of a brief introduction of what it is that we are going to present to you, the learning that has been taking place in Mrs. Knott's class. Mrs. Knotts, if you would come up here with me, please, I'd appreciate it. It's my second year as principal at Menominee, as you all are very well aware, and one of my greatest purposes when I took over was to instill a growth mindset within the teachers and the staff and the students with whom I have the pleasure of serving. And I began my principalship at Menominee by developing a growth mindset motto and then some associated values with that. Our motto is be better today than you were yesterday, and our values are optimism, effort, and perseverance. And we spend a great deal of time just educating our students that believing in yourself and putting forth effort and not giving up when faced with challenges is the key to that continued growth and success and improvement that we look for day in and day out. With the understanding that mindset and the growth mindset in this culture wasn't just going to happen without some education on my part, I engaged our staff and our teachers in a book study over Mindsets in the Classroom by Mary Kay Ritchie. And we had some engaging and ongoing dialogue last year aimed at language and practices that we could instill in our classrooms to help develop and foster that growth mindset culture within the classrooms. Last year, at the end of the year, I was sitting down with Andy and we were reflecting a little bit on the success of this book study and how the development of that has gone. And Andy has continually challenged me as a principal to know my impact and how do you know that what you're doing is making an impact on student learning. And initially when he asked me that question, I wasn't really all that sure how that has gone and has manifested itself this year. In spending more time in Carla's class, I have seen the influence and the impact of the mindsets work that we have done. And something else, Andy and the admin team has been reading instructional rounds, and there's a great quote in there on the effectiveness of a leader. And I want to read it briefly. It's, the effectiveness of leadership is determined by the way a leader's practices influence the knowledge and skill of the teachers and then the level of work in the classroom, and then ultimately the level of learning that's done by students in the classroom. So in reflecting on how this has, the impact that I've had with growth mindsets and how this has impacted students, I've wondered how the commitment and efforts to growth mindsets have ultimately affected and influenced student learning. And this evening, Mrs. Knotts and her students are going to answer that and show the influence that we've had with our growth mindsets. Mrs. Knotts, introduce your students.
2 years ago, Mr. Boyer brought a concept to Menominee and to our students. Mr. Boyer was a supporter of the belief that intelligence is malleable and can be developed through persistence, effort, and a focus on learning. He brought on new challenges to the teachers as well as the students. He taught the students to focus on effort, optimism, and perseverance, and posted motivational quotes throughout the building to encourage students and staff to grow from our mistakes, and that it was okay to struggle, feel challenged, and even to fail, because all of these provided us all with an opportunity to learn. He asked the staff to participate in a book talk on mindsets in the classroom, and I was immediately validated in my beliefs that all students can learn if they believe. The research on neuroplasticity shows that as teachers, we have the ability to not only build learners' brain potential, but to help them literally change their brains and intelligence so as to bridge the achievement gap and support their highest level of learning. This is a must for teachers. Now I would like to turn tonight's focus on learning over to my students who would like to share.
I'm Marley Christie. I'm Lena Jones. I'm Mason Bales. And I'm Claire Lewandowski.
And I am Bryce Huber, and I would like to thank you so much for welcoming us here to the PCSC School Board. And as you heard, we are from Menominee Elementary, which is part of PCSC. And we would like to talk to you about growth mindset today. Now, you might be, we also like to compare and contrast it with fixed mindset. And now you might be wondering, what is growth mindset? Well, growth mindset is a type of mindset or thinking process that can help you achieve very difficult achievements. So for example, imagine a boy who's really frustrated on with a question on a math paper. And imagine that he was about to give up, but he realized that he would be using a fixed mindset. And now you might be wondering, what is fixed mindset? Well, fixed mindset is another type of mindset or thinking process that keeps you from achieving hard goals, which makes you want to give up, but you don't give up. With what we just told you about in the other side, growth mindset. And there is a photo of growth mindset and fixed mindset of what you say in growth mindset. I can do this, I'll try, I won't give up, yes. And with fixed mindset, it's like, no, I hate this, I don't want to do this, I'm done, I quit. And you do not want fixed mindset at all. And I would like to now talk to you about the power of yet. Which I can tell you that the power of yet is 100% growth mindset, because you're saying, I can't do it yet. This can really keep you from giving up. And here's a
Oh, we'll never get this! Two plus two. Come on. I will never get it right. You just didn't get it yet, but you get it soon, I bet. It's the power of the yes, 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 yes. It's the power of the yes, 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 yes. That is what you get with the power of the yes. Come on, you tried to ride, but you couldn't make a letter up. You tried to jump, but you didn't make it very far. You tried to drum, but you couldn't find a damn beat. You tried to dance, but you tripped on your own feet. Just breathe, don't lose control. Keep trying and you reach your goal. You just didn't get it yet, but you make it soon, I bet. That's the power of the yes, 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 yes. That's the power of the yes, 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 yes. Ready, get set, the power of the yes. Bring it down now. There's no mountain you can climb. It just takes a little time. 'Cause you got what it takes. Just learn from your mistakes. Try again. One day you step up and then you try to add and you get the right answer. You sing a song and you be a great dancer. You dunk the ball and you make the right letter. Everything you do it better. This is what you get. 'Cause this is what you get. 'Cause this is what you get with the power of the yes, 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 yes. That's the power of the yes, 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 yes. And that is what you get. And that is what you get. Woo! And that is what you get with the power of the yes.
And now, from that video, you might also be thinking that there are some famous people who have growth mindset as well as the person who sang the song in the music video. And I can also say that you can tell that some people who have growth mindset are people who want to achieve the best out of their career or do not get upset or throw a temper tantrum about losing. So for my first example, I would like to say that, for a fact, it took about 16,000 attempts for a famous Geometry Dash YouTuber named Riot to verify a level he made called Bloodbath. Didn't give up. And another one is a famous Minecraft Hunger Games YouTuber named The Asian Canadian, had almost lost 3 times in a row in his Hunger Games career. Didn't give up. Those two people are very great examples of people who have growth mindset and people who I'm a big fan of, and you might like them if you check out their channels as well. And I would like to bring out Lena Jones to introduce cups.
These are our cups we use to tell our teacher if we red don't get it at all yet, yellow we get it but we still need some help, and if we have green we get it and we don't need any help. As you can see, there's cups on your desk. When I say cup check, then you're going to turn them to what color and how well you understood our talk. And now to Claire and Dusty,
These are in your we use these in class, so if we don't get it yet, we put them up in the air like this, and that tells our teacher that we don't get it yet, and we need a little more practice and a little more time and effort on it.
Mason and Martin math journals.
These are our math journals. In our math journals, we have math papers and WIMs, which we will be explaining later. The M stands for mistakes. The A stands for allow. The T stands for thinking too. The A stands for have. Like I already said, our math journals have math papers and WIMs.
A WIM is when we do our DMRs or daily math reviews.
And
If we get one wrong, that means we write about it in our journal on how we got it wrong and how we fixed it. If we got it right, we'd explain our strategy to explain how we got the answer right.
In WIM, the W stands for writing.
The A stands for about.
And the M stands for math.
Cut check.
This is what it looks like when you get one wrong. Okay, now we're going to do our click up and click down chart. This is green where we start every day. And it says, I am ready to learn. Today is a great day to make mistakes and overcome challenges. Which is where we start every day, like I already said, because every day is a new day.
Okay. These are our clip ups. Purple is one clip up. Purple means you have worked through one struggle. That means you have 2 more to get to a rainbow peak. And purple says, I'm acting like a learner and I'm doing my work. I am finding challenges and I will not give up. And here is blue. Blue means that you click. Blue means you clicked up twice and you only need 1 more to get all the way to peak. And blue says, I'm taking risks in my learning and being a good citizen of the classroom. And pink is our main goal. Pink means you clicked up 3 times, and it says, I worked through my struggles and completed all of my work. I was a leader today. And now clear the clip downs.
These are our clip downs. These mean that you've made some struggles. This is our yellow. This means you've made at least 1 struggle or you've made 1 bad mistake. This means, it says, I need to adjust to the challenge. I have to get back on track. This is our orange cup. Orange means you've made two mistakes and you have to get, but the good thing is you can click back up to green and you'll be fine. Orange says, I am missing out on some learning that I will need to complete. This is our red card. This means our teacher might have to call a parent. We might have to call a parent and see how they can help. This means, and it also says, I am having a struggle and I will need to make a plan with an adult to help me.
Okay, and now, cup check.
Now Mason and Bryce with encourager. Now, I will be here to introduce to you what an encourager is. An encourager is actually one of the most important roles in our classroom. And an encourager is like someone who encourages someone to keep on going, or you're doing great, keep it up. Like that was an example of encouragement. Like, say you think something is bad. Well, if you tried saying something bad about it, you would hurt the person who did it's feelings. So you might want to hide that negative feeling and replace it with a positive feeling. And it might make their day.
Being an encourager is a great ability in our classroom. When you be an encourager, that makes other people want to encourage you. But when you don't encourage them, that makes them not want to encourage you more.
Cup check.
And now I would like to bring up all of the Menominee Elementary students that were here with me, and Carla Knotts and Stephen Boyer today. I would like to introduce Marla Christie, Mason Bales, Lena Jones, and Claire Lewandowski. I am Brent Suber, and before we would like to end this, we would like to say, you have only you have given up. Until then, it's learning. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I don't know, Mr. Hurley, I think we might need to add those cups to our admin meetings and say cup check during those. What do you think, guys? Might be a good piece. Good job.
Any questions from the board members on that excellent presentation or comments?
Very good. So impressed.
Great job. Thank you all. Thank you. Let's see.
I know, my cheeks
Todd, you were a little hesitant.
What's
You
that?
were a little hesitant on the green every time.
Just making sure. We'll do meeting for cup check. All right, I think we're encouraged to move on, right?
Except for the guy that's got to go next.
No one can follow that.
Okay, we'll go on to 3.2, consider proposed course changes.
Mr. Condon and School Administration.
Thank you so much. That was, I'll tell you what, whether it be Jeff or president of the board or governmental entity, principal, boy, Bryce, he is going to be a leader someday. It already is. That was an inspiring presentation by those kids. That was great. We are here tonight on behalf of our administrative team and the teachers of Plymouth High School to propose some new courses for consideration next year to our students. Keep in mind that at Plymouth High School we have two schools under one roof, the traditional side and the project-based learning side, the Minor School of Inquiry. So our presentation will come in that reverse order, WSOI with a few classes to begin, followed by the traditional side. To start our presentation, I'll call Mrs. Falk.
Good evening. I think this is the third year I've come to you with some proposed courses, and this year's the first year where we have some changes. The first two changes we're making after the hire of Mr. Scott Michael, who replaced Mr. Riley, and Mr. Michael and his teaching partner, Mr. Johnson, sat down with Mr. Delp and I and discussed the following year and how could we change things to really pull in Mr. Michael's strengths. So that's what I'm going to talk about first. So our first change is in our sophomore level integrated science course. We are proposing to change to plant and soil science from food science. That's the agriculture course. We're going to keep chemistry there, but we would like to pair those together. We will also be submitting plant and soil science to Ivy Tech Lafayette for dual credit credentialing. That is a dual credit that will be unchanged from the Higher Learning Commission's proposed changes to take effect in September 2017. So that is one we should be able to hold on to. The next course we're proposing changing is our junior level integrated science course. So we're going to keep physics, which is also AP as well as dual credit, and we would like to change to sports, entertainment, and marketing. Mr. Michael has that license. It's a very rare license, and we're going to be replacing sustainable energy alternatives and ag tech and power, the ag courses. If you remember a month or two ago, we had to come and get a waiver for the sustainable energy alternative course. Mr. Michael We would have to keep applying for a waiver for that every year, and they have some exciting plans to combine sports entertainment with physics. And that course, as well as the other one, is plant soil science, is vocationally funded. Our next proposal is to integrate advanced speech and communication with our English 11 and 12 courses next year. Our sophomores have not earned their speech credit. The plan was for them to earn it their junior year in their English class, and so Mrs. Tyree will be teaching advanced speech and communication. They will be earning 3 Ivy Tech dual credits with that. That course will also be on the course offering for traditional students as well. And I think those are all the WSOI courses. Would you like me to have Mr. Condon go before you have questions?
One question about the dual credit courses. Are we in compliance of what I've been reading about that, or has that not been implemented, or as far as certification with our teachers?
So that is a threat to our existing program that we have right now. I'm sure you've done quite a bit of reading about the potential impacts that might have statewide. We are no exception to that. We've had initial discussions at the building and corporate level about what our plan of action could be, should be, but those are in the infantile stage. We're also reaching out to other corporations as well to gain information on that. At the same time, downstate, continued discussion is taking place about whether what you've been reading will end up being the end plan, or whether revisions to that will be made. I would welcome the opportunity to come back to the board at some point to talk further about dual credit and to talk about the many benefits it's had for our students. I would certainly welcome that.
The agriculture courses, Mrs. Steele on the traditional side just got her courses approved. Those are unaffected by the proposed change because they are not core subject courses. So that is some good news that they are in compliance now and they will be, continue to be so.
Well, I would hope that state reevaluates that so that, you know, it's a little bit out of context, really.
And I think it would be a fruitful discussion at some point to go into more depth about, you know, the many benefits it's had for our students and families.
Definitely.
If so, given the opportunity.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Would you like that?
No. On the traditional side, the first new course that we're going to offer, and this will be open to all students, is an introductory computer science class. Again, we'll be getting vocational reimbursement on this. There is a brief description that talks about the aims of the course, which are inclusive of developing computational thinking, inspiring students to pursue potential careers in computing, and introducing the tools that foster creativity and collaboration. Projects and problems include application development, which is really a hot market right now, visualization of data, cybersecurity, and simulations. The next new course is the next in a strand of biomed classes, and this is medical interventions. Once again, you'll see the common theme. There is reimbursement coming back to the school corporation through these classes. This is the third course in that strand of biomed. The course allows students to investigate how to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. We're seeking approval pending an increase in enrollment on the second year course. I'm not sure that our current numbers in year 2 this year will necessitate actually offering this course next year. But we'd like to get this approved so that we can work forward with marketing strategies to do that in the future.
What kind of numbers do you need, Jim?
Ideally a minimum of 15. We're at 12 right now. Advanced manufacturing, this is our logistics strand. This would be the year 2 course for logistics. Again, vocational funding coming back to us. And this is in partnership with the Connexus program. Questions, comments, concerns?
I'm just glad to see you looking ahead and keeping up and moving in the right direction. I think it's good that you do that, and I think the kids will definitely benefit from it.
Thank you.
I would so move that we approve those courses.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any other questions or discussion? If not, entertain a motion, or we have a motion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
3.3, report on the ECA scores.
Mr. Kaufman from the high school will report on that for us today.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, it's my pleasure to be with you tonight to present some data from the past year at Plymouth High School. There are 4 pieces of information that I will share with you tonight. We're going to look at Algebra 1 and English 10 ECA results for this year's junior class, 2017 cohort. And then I will share with you the 2015 graduation rate and their college and career readiness as defined by the DOE. Let's go ahead and let's start with Algebra 1. The 2017 cohort, or this year's junior class, they first had the opportunity to take Algebra 1 end of course assessment in grade 7 at Lincoln Junior High. As you can see from the slide here, 30 students in that cohort participated in grade 7 and passed the ECA. Taking a look at the next slide, when these students were in grade 8, there were 64 students, different from the 30 students that I just mentioned, who participated in the Algebra 1 ECA at Lincoln. Of these 64, 63 passed, 98%. So 93 total students came to the high school from this cohort who had completed their graduation requirement before they walked into our door. At PHS in grade 9, that is the grade level that all students take Algebra 1 if they did not take it at Lincoln. Remember that those 93 students, which is a little more than a third of the cohort, they had already met that requirement, leaving about 57% to take it in grade 9. And because we are focusing on participation each year, those who did not pass in grade 8, that one student is in this as well. And as you can see, 124 students, or 77% of the remaining cohort, they passed the Algebra ECA in grade 9, and that is actually the highest percentage we've had in grade 9 the past 2 years. In 2016, it was 59%, and then in 2015, that cohort, 65%. Now we're looking at the 2017 cohort in grade 10. And here you can see there were 59 students who took the Algebra ECA as retesters, meaning most, if not all, of these students had taken the exam at least once before. 42% of these students passed. The average of the 3 previous cohorts in grade 10 is 50%. I attribute the lower percentage to us being so much higher in grade 9. Next slide. You can see that 86% of the entire cohort for 2017, this year's junior class, they passed the Algebra 1 ECA by the end of their sophomore year. And if you've been adding the numbers up along the way, it's not quite that simple, because on this slide, what I've shared with you is only the number of students who were enrolled at Plymouth High School at least 162 days during their sophomore year, which is how we're accountable by the state. For example, in the grade 9 slide, I showed you data of all of the students who participated in the exam. The next slide, I have the last 5 cohorts in Algebra 1 from 2013 to 2017. The graph displays the percentage of students who passed the Algebra 1 ECA by the end of their sophomore year, and also in italics at the bottom of each bar you can see that you are looking at the respective cohorts, 8th grade I-STEP scores, and note that the current junior class, the sophomores, in 2017, they scored 4% higher than they did as an 8th grade cohort. I attribute this to the hard work of our teachers, our students. We've continued to offer, last year at this time, we offered vertical and horizontal labs to help support our students in algebra. And the same when they were in grade 9. Algebra 1 and English 10, they carry the same weight in the A through F calculation. And here I have for you the same cohort, 2017. And please note that there was only one opportunity for these students to take the English 10 ECA. It's at the end of their English 10 year, which for a little under 1/3 was trimester 2 of last year, and for the rest was at the end of the school year last year in the spring of 15. 189 of 253 students, or 75% of the 2017 cohort, passed the English ECA. Again, we are looking at different students as you go to the next slide, and you look at the 5-year trend. But the 2017 cohort does represent a 6% decline from the previous year. It's disappointing to see that we're at a 5-year low. You can see that when you look at their performance as 8th graders, it's the same. I want to provide you some information as you think about understanding the data. For students who were enrolled in PCSC for the 2017 cohort as 8th graders and then stayed with us as sophomores, we did improve by 2%. Those students who were with us from 8th grade to 10th grade, they actually performed at 77% as a group. We also looked at how these scores lined up with PSAT data, and our PSAT data scores in reading and writing, they have increased in the past 3 years. The class of 2015 through 2017 in reading, a drop of 2 points roughly, and then in writing, roughly 2 points. And we're also seeing some of that trend at the state level as well with PSAT data, with numbers declining a little bit. In looking at some of the systems that we offer, we do have lab support. We have implemented this year for the current grade 9 class reverse courses. So students who are not successful in English 9, the fall semester, they will go into English 9A in the spring semester, and then we will highly encourage them to be enrolled in summer school to get them back on track so they're not behind when they come into grade 10. We also need to continue to look at how we differentiate for our students. And then I have one last piece just to provide some context and try to understand where we are with this. Of the students who did not pass, 52% of those students who did not pass were special needs. Two students had 504s, 14 students were English learners, and 17 students were special ed students. Those aren't excuses. That's just an attempt at how we understand the data and look at it. If you look at the next slide, I'm going to move to more promising news. This next chart, this displays the graduation rate for the last 4 years. And when we do receive our A through F score, that score will be for the 2014 cohort. Today I'm sharing with you the 2015 cohort, and that graduation rate was 91%. I think credit goes to our hardworking teachers, our support staff, our students, and our parents for making that graduation rate as high as it is. We have continued with the mentoring program that I brought forth to you last year, and I feel like that has made graduation a goal that is doable for those students who feel like they are drowning a little bit. The last slide I have for you this evening, along with the graduation rate, there's the last factor that determines the high school's grade, and that's college and career readiness. The state defines that a college and career ready student has passed at least one AP exam or has earned dual credit in at least one course. And a student can't be counted twice in that equation. So building up to this, for the 2012 cohort, PHS was recognized for 34% of its graduates being college and career ready. In 2013, we were at 39%. Last year I presented to you that we were at 47%. And for the 2015 cohort, PHS was at 61% of our graduates meeting the college and career readiness benchmark. And that increased percentage from last year to this year is our largest growth between cohorts in the last 5 years. Questions from you?
What do you attribute that tremendous growth to?
I attribute it to the expansion of our dual credit opportunities, and with more opportunities comes awareness, and even opening up some of those opportunities as early as sophomore year. And I can't overstate the impact that our dual credit credentialing team has had in that process, and making sure, and Mrs. Felke is one, with Mrs. Porty is making sure that our students meet those measures to be considered credentialed for our dual credit classes.
So that's very, very significant. Yeah, it's a big jump. Great
So
jump.
I may have missed it. What happens to what then for the students that have not passed either the English or the algebra PCA?
Great question, Mr. Samuelson. We have labs for those students because for the class of 2017 and 18, the ECA is still their graduation requirement. So we will have labs to support them to make that.
And then they'll retest.
They will retest. And they are allowed 2 opportunities to retest per year. So those students can retest twice their junior year, twice their senior year.
For our state accountability purposes, they stop counting it after their sophomore year.
We will be able to possibly, for state accountability, receive a bonus if we get X percentage of the students who did not pass by their sophomore year to pass by graduation.
For the breakdown of the students that you provided, I know it's not an excuse, it's just data.
There's data.
Are there, what's the word I'm searching for? When they take the test, are they able to have assistance in any way?
There are certain accommodations that students are able to have. For instance, there's time and a half, there is a screen reader, there's a dictionary for students who are English learners, but the test, compared to like a classroom assessment, the answer choices would not be modified anyway. It's the same test that everyone takes.
Other questions?
Good report.
Oh, I don't have any. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
Excuse me. Item 3.4, consider educational tour, PHS student historical trip to Europe in 2017.
So if you recall, information was presented to you a couple of meetings ago on this trip, and I'm going to provide time for processing and thinking about it, asking questions. I asked Mr. Wolf to be here tonight to be able to answer any questions that you may have prior to presenting it to you for your approval. So, Mr. Wolf.
All right. First, I'm going to hand out this is going to be an agenda of what the trip would look like. Like Mr. Hartley said, I was not able to be at the meeting. I think it was in May, because I had June, it was in June. We had a baseball game that night, so I wasn't able to be here. But Mrs. Falstich and I have kind of put this together. It's my 10th year teaching, and I think every year I've had the want to maybe do something like this for students. Before I kind of get into it and answer any questions you have, I was able to take one of these trips as a high school student. In the year 2000, pre all the security checks, I always tell kids that I've flown pre and post 9/11, so it was a little different. But we went to Europe for 2 weeks with my French class. It was an opportunity. My mom went with me. We were able to go to London, Paris, Vienna, Salzburg, and Munich is where we were able to go for 2 weeks. And I was going to bring my thing of pictures because I use it a lot in class, because one of the things that we went and visited, we talk about. So I pull out the pictures. One of the things of the day in world history, we're talking about Rome. And we went to a Roman bath in London, in Bath, England. Or not in London, but Bath, England. And I was able to pull out the pictures, and it's just things that I think was an opportunity as a 17-year-old kid that, looking back, was phenomenal for me to be able to go on. I think when we get to my age and older, you get kids, and you'd like to, hopefully someday maybe go back to Europe, but with the hustles of life, I don't know if that their opportunities arise and so forth. So I just want to be able to give kids the opportunity to go somewhere that this might be the only time in their life they'll ever get to go. Everything is organized for us. I remember getting on a plane and they told us where to go, when to be there, and that was it. I mean, we did everything organized. Again, Ms. Falstich has been, I think she presented a little more. I think the representative from EF Tours was here at that time too. Kind of hopefully answered some questions that you might have had at that time. But I just want to give you, this is a World War II trip. It's something we do discuss. It's our first unit in the second semester of U.S. history. So things on here that we would visit wouldn't necessarily be maybe someone or something that everyone would want to visit, but it's something historical that we will discuss in class that we can then take with us and maybe have a little better understanding of where that place is and why it was important and so forth. So, any questions?
Refresh my memory, how many can go? What's available?
I think it's really unlimited. I mean, I think it would include, that would include maybe some, chaperones and things that would be able to go with us. But, I mean, in my head, I was from a small school. I graduated with 45 kids. I think we had 20 on our tour. Now, when I went, we actually, because it was a smaller group, paired up with a middle school from West Virginia, I remember. And I can't remember, I think we actually met in Europe when we flew into London. We flew out of Detroit, but I think it would be unlimited, depending on how many we got. Now, my thought would be, and the number that popped into my head was 30, just with the size of school that we are compared to the 20 that we got where I went. So I was thinking 30 would be a good number to take. And I think that would be a possibility, or a very achievable number if we were to do this.
Do they tie that in with other schools? I mean, is there?
We did not. We could. I mean, we could open it up to Marshall County if we wanted to.
Well, I just, the tour itself, is it just for PHS?
I would think it would depend on the number of students that we got. I think because of the relatively small number that we had when I went, they didn't want to just have one tour guide and pay him for 20 kids. They would rather pay. So I think a lot of it depends on the number of students that we get to go with us. But again, I mean, when we went with that group from West Virginia, I mean, one of the guys I know with a lot was a kid from West Virginia. It was kind of neat to intermingle with students from other parts of the United States too, but I also get the idea that hopefully we get enough that just Plymouth kids could go with us. And
what's the tentative dates?
We really haven't set a specific date. Our idea would be in July, whether it be the second week or third week of July, or the second and third week of July is kind of what we have planned right now, where they could, I mean, June or July. We would go in the summer of 2017. I mean, the thing with that is there are certain deadlines. I mean, the earlier you sign up, the more money you get off. It's kind of an incentive to sign up. So I actually tried to call the lady right before or after school today to kind of see where we were at with that, because I know when we initially talked to her, we have missed a couple deadlines. So I don't know if that could be recouped or if we would have to maybe push it back another summer. I mean, I just want to have enough time for people to be able to pay for it. I mean, if we go too early, then that doesn't give people enough time to be able to cover the costs and so forth. Because it is a significant amount of money to go, but.
And it's all paid for by that family, correct?
Yes. Now we, and again.
Fundraising through the school or anything?
Well, and that's some of the questions that I guess have come up, whether we would be doing a fundraiser would be, I mean, allowed or even beneficial, I would say. I mean, you get 30 people, and I guess you could do a fundraiser where it would have to be kind of individual based.
Yeah, right.
Where if you did like a chili supper and you raised 1,000, how would you divide that? I mean, I don't think that could be. We did not do any fundraising, I know, when we went. But again, that was 2 years out, and they can make payments, they can do some things financially that I think would be doable instead of having to come up with large chunks of money at one time.
So could I interject?
Yes.
Because we have so many fundraisers, as you guys know, we were looking at doing this more on an individual basis. Instead of taking the initiative to the community and to business doors and asking one more time for them to contribute.
I think there's a lot of things that students could do over the course of the 2 years if we did. Just in terms of like, I don't know, Christmas is coming, hey, instead of gifts this year, how about family member? I mean, just things like that, that I know the EF Tour, that they offer a lot of ideas in terms of how to raise money and so forth for students and parents and so forth. So.
The rep that was here, I remember really knew her stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember thinking that I really want to go.
Yeah.
Well, it looks great, once in a lifetime for a lot of these kids.
Yeah, I look back, and I know Miss Falstad she spent 4 months in South Africa, and she's actually been there twice, and so her and I both kind of have just a passion for wanting to give kids opportunities to go. Because we talk about this, many kids haven't even been outside of Indiana. I mean, let alone have the opportunity to go some places like this. And we thought, again, tying it into our curriculum with U.S. history would be beneficial too, to kind of tie everything together and so forth. And again, if this would be something that, whether it is every 2 or 3 years, to give kids opportunities. I mean, as the kids roll over, I mean, they graduate, we get the next 3 years an opportunity to maybe do this as well. So.
I remember we did, when I went to school at Plymouth, we went to Mexico every other year. And I went 20 years ago, and I still talk, I went with Mr. Hartley's wife, was one of them, and we still talk about it. You know, that was Mexico, and it's wonderful, but this is, you know, really historical.
And I remember when we got back, I mean, my buddy and I, he was graduated with me, and we were all set after college, we were going to go pay $30, whatever, I had to train all over Europe and go back, and some things derailed that plan, but
didn't work out like that.
No, that's all right. So, any other questions?
Well, when the representative was here in June or whatever, they were able to answer, of course, a lot of the questions of the what ifs.
Yeah.
The world's a crazy place.
There is, and I know that's, and Melissa kind of informed me of what the questions that were asked, and she said that the lady did, her representative did a good job of answering those. So yeah, there is a lot. I mean, I know we're going flying. I mean, I remember the 15-hour flight, and it's a lot, but yeah. So I'm glad she was able to answer some of those.
And I'm sure all that information is available to the families; they can make their own decision.
Yes, and that's something that, I mean, if we are able to move forward, yeah, meetings will be set up and things to the informational stuff would be put out to the parents.
So the first thing we would do after we had signups, is we would hold an informational meeting for potential students. We would require their parents or guardians be there. All of the information would be shared, opportunities for questions and answers, and follow-up to that after people have an opportunity to process.
So summer of 17, so when you say potential students, we're talking about, it's been a long day, but currently
They're
those are
young.
these, huh?
They're young right now. We would
Seventh grade?
We would, 8th grade, I'm thinking 8th grade freshmen and.
They take U.S. history when they're sophomores, probably, right?
Juniors in our, I
Junior years.
think maybe sophomores.
Sophomores.
Yeah.
Sophomores in as well.
I mean, and it would kind of be a projection, but yes, we would probably reach out to the 8th graders this year and offer it to them as well. I mean, so you're really talking about offering it to roughly 700 students.
I know my daughter did the math, and she was pretty upset, because she's a junior right now.
I know. I know. I know, it's, and again, I've just mentioned this to students in class of what, and I've even taken polls throughout, where would you like to go? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You can go to Japan and stop at Hawaii on the way back, all kinds of stuff, and I mean,
I know students will volunteer, yeah, let's.
yeah, I know, until they.
But what kind of, I mean, since this topic has come up, what kind of interest has there been?
Oh, there's, I mean, again, they want to go. I mean, obviously, I haven't discussed cost or, or anything like that, but the opportunities.
Don't confuse it with the facts here.
Yeah, I know. I just say, hey, well, so the opportunity, I think, just, I mean, their faces kind of light up, and they would love to go see some of the places that we discuss in class. I mean, firsthand. So I think the interest.
Definitely be educationally rewarding, that's
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
So-
I mean, I know that, I mean, other factors led me to want to teach and specifically teach history, but that trip alone really sparked my interest in just understanding Europe's a lot older than we are, and being able to go there and see things kind of led me on the path to want to do what I do today. So,
Do we need a motion to approve this? I would so move it.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any other questions?
Sounds like you might have to plan a family vacation.
I'm sorry?
Sounds like you might have to plan a family vacation.
I think the benefit is there's also, if you get X number of students to sign up, there are some free opportunities for supervisors.
well, thank you very much.
We haven't voted yet.
Thank you for the opportunity to discuss.
We have motion and second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Uh, 3.5, consider section 125 plan document.
This is an annual approval by the board. It's the same plan, no changes what we've had in the past as far as the benefit that it provides to our employees. So presented to you for approval.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Section 4, superintendent.
With respect to commitment to students, in addition to, we just approved as far as that field trip and learning opportunity for some high school kids later on. Our high school spellbowl team is qualified for the state finals that will be held this coming Saturday, November 14th. I think it's in Lafayette. Caring, a nearby school district contacted me recently. They had a tragic event with one of their volleyball players and was just expressing her gratitude toward Plymouth and a few of our girls and coaches arriving there just in support and condolences for what they experienced, and thought that was worth noting as well. With respect to high expectations, Lincoln Junior High, they held their first ever fall festival fundraiser and community event for some trick-or-treating safely in a haunted house, and I've heard nothing but positive comments for that. It was a great community event for Plymouth. Next, our first round of intercessions, we'll say that they were a success. We had a lot of staff that pulled together over those 3 days during fall break, some good learning opportunities and things that we'll work on to get better at, but overall, for a first intercession, we were pleased. With respect to integrity, I wanted to highlight our Dean of Students at Plymouth High School, Ken Olson, for being recognized recently for, or being nominated for the 17th Annual Ernestine Racklin?
Yes.
Okay, pardon my pronunciation there. Community Leadership Award established by First Source Bank. The award recognizes Ernestine Racklin, Chairman Emeritus of First Source, who strongly demonstrated the spirit of volunteerism throughout her career by giving of her time and talents to help others. Mr. Olson was recognized for doing similar. As far as enjoyment goes, we have we have the Charlotte's Web Children's Show being presented this weekend, Friday at 6:30, Saturday at 2 and 6:30, and Sunday at 2 o'clock. In addition to that, this weekend, our football team has progressed to the next stage, so that'll be this Friday at home at 7 o'clock as well. So, other than that, noting our next meeting, we will have an executive session, and our December 1 meeting will begin at 6 o'clock, with the regular meeting beginning at 7.
Thank you. Any questions? Back to the audience, any comments or questions on agenda items this evening? If not, I think we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.